These are called the chente tacos. My friend Eddie O does an amazing smoked brisket, and he puts a fried egg on top. These are very manly tacos, so they're called chente tacos after Vicente Fernandez. Some queso fresco and some bacon. That's a manly taco right there. That's a taco. You know, we're Tejanos, but we're also Mexicanos. We're doing the barbacoas and the carnitas and the fajitas, but we're also doing a damn good brisket. You know, we know a tortilla, we know the carne. This is what you call a true Tejano taco. My mouth is watering just looking at it. So my name is Marco Torres. Actually, it's Marco Antonio Torres. It's my full name. I am known as Marco from Houston on the interwebs. I am a photographer and taco journalist, well, event photographer. So I do music festivals, I do concerts, live events, and it can range from food, it can range from sports, nightlife. That's who I am. Mexicano, puro party. So I started, I have a tío, his name is Mateo Angel. He was a photographer before he retired. He had his own company. But I was always kind of interested to see what he did, like the photos that he took and then how he developed them. And then later on in the early 2000s is when I picked up a camera. And from like 04, 05 to about 09, I just shot whatever I could around the city, whether it was graffiti, abandoned buildings, a lot of urban exploration, just anything I could just to kind of get a hang of what I was doing, learn my camera settings, get a feel and a vibe for taking photos. And in 2009 is when I first started getting paid to take photos for the Houston Press. They sent me out to a show. It was one of my favorite rappers who I'm actually really good friends with to this day. His name is Bun B. I almost didn't know what I was doing still. I was still learning. And like live music is just it's not easy to shoot with the dark and the light and the changing, the guys just going all over the stage, and it's just very difficult. It's not easy. But man, at the end of the show, he was kind of just like, I was like one of like 6 or 7 photographers in the photo pit. He just kind of like looked at me and kind of threw me the H-Town sign, and I was able to capture that on my camera. And I was like, man, I could do this every day of my life. I fell in love with photography at that point. A couple years ago, I got booked to be the principal photographer for a book called The Tacos of Texas. So I told them it was a job that I've been training for my whole life. I've been eating tacos since they took the bottle out of my hand. They put a taco in my hand, and I've been doing that ever since. We went on this 7,000-mile journey around Texas where we ate tacos every day, sometimes 7 to 10 places a day. I was in charge of taking photos of everything, of the food, of the locations, of the people, of the owners of the taquerias and the restaurants and the taco trucks. And then they made it into a beautiful book, and I was able to do the cover, all the photos inside, and it was just a really great experience. A photo of me and my dad when I was like, I would say 3 or 4 years old, back when I told you when they took the bottle in my hand, and we're sitting at the dinner table and we're eating, tacos de carne molida that my mom made. He has a big plate of tacos in front of him, and I have like 2 or 3 tacos in front of me. We didn't have money to go to Pizza Hut every day or McDonald's every day or go out to a fancy dinner. So the food that we ate was tacos, tostadas, tortas, whatever we could, sopas, fideo, caldo. I mean, just your typical Mexican food. And I didn't see it as a bad thing. I love the food, So he really taught me to just. Also, I got scolded a lot because I'm kind of a picky eater. I don't like cebolla. I don't like sour cream. I don't like. There's so many things I don't like, but at the same time, they're like, ¿vas a comer o no vas a comer? Like, you have to eat. So tacos is a lot about tradition, but when it comes down to it, it's the taco, it's the carne, and it's the salsa, maybe some vegetables. If you can fit them in. But really, a taco is beautiful because it's simple, but at the same time, it can be very beautiful. it doesn't just represent food. It represents culture. It represents family. It represents friends. It represents, so much history of where we're from and who we are. I mean, I've traveled to most of the major cities in Texas. I traveled all around Mexico. Houston is like, there's a small town feel to it in a big metropolitan city. So you have the best of everything. Restaurants that are getting named top restaurant in Texas, top restaurant in the US. We have that in Houston. But you also have the little mom and pop shops. You have the tacos from the lady at the pulga. You have the barbacoa that's still being made with the big old cabezas de res. You have, home cooks that are doing brisket and making a business out of it. It's not just the food, it's the food plus the culture, plus the music. There's just something special about Houston that sets it apart. We love to hustle. We don't just have one job, we have like 10 jobs. I don't know, I take photos for a magazine, a newspaper, a weekly, a website. I do a quinceañera, we're pulled in so many different directions. That's the hustle mentality, and that's what Houston's about. Chewy called me.
Hey, sorry, that was a accidental selfie dial.
That was a butt dial?
Yeah.
That was I ate already too many tacos dial?
Alright, well, did interview went well and everything?
Yeah, we're still doing it.